makes you really appreciate the kind of person that manufacturer is. So anytime you see his products, because you would never be able to evaluate a manufacturer unless you see his output. That's why we know there are some products, this product, it's quality. I mean, you would never have known how genius the manufacturer is unless you saw what he had brought out. And I said we are the praise of God, because we are the result of the finished work. So if you know who you are, your hallelujah will not be based on your feeling, because the finished work of Jesus Christ is not a feeling, it's a reality. Feelings are not, feelings are based on time. You know that. Do you know feeling is based on time? It's either the past, present, or future. That is why anybody feels the way they feel. Is either thinking of the hey, then feeling. What is happening now? What has happened? Feeling. That's all. And once feeling is subject to time, it will pass. And we are not creatures that pass away. So hallelujah should not be based on hallelujah. You are responding based on how you feel. But if you have revelation of the finished work, brother, winter, summer, autumn, spring, your hallelujah will be a praise. You can't tell me hallelujah, then you say hallelujah. It's not praise. It's not praise. You might be mentioning a word of praise, but you are not defining that word. Because you can't tell me you're excited about something and then you are laid back. I give you something you really like. Oh, thank you. If you really like it, your thank you will show. Your thank you will show. So you can hallelujah, then you are. I intentionally said it over and over because I know there is it's a mixed gender multitude. Yet all I was hearing was the bass. Hallelujah. I was expecting to hear, a delicate voice, but I wasn't hearing it. If you want to know how much you are mastering your emotions, check your response to the things of God. If you really want to check how you are mastering your emotions, check how you respond to the things of God. Check whether it's consistent or it fluctuates. If it fluctuates, obviously you are being regulated by your feelings. But no matter how things are, hallelujah is still hallelujah. It doesn't change. You may have come with some issues at home, but if we say you say hallelujah, that shouldn't make a difference. You'll be amazed that if you function this way, you can never leave a meeting defined by the atmosphere you came with. There are people who come for meetings and they go back even worse off. They came with issues, but they leave even heavier than they came. Do you know why? Because you came to an anointed place and you were not connected, so you will leave more depressed. You didn't get what I said. It's like, it's very annoying when people are excited around you and you're not excited. It makes what you are going through, it's like it magnifies more. See them, they are not serious. They don't know what we are thinking about. These guys are not serious in life. You are just angry because they are happy. So if you come to a place where your burdens are supposed to be lifted and you don't allow it, you go back, because it's like, it makes what you are experiencing stand out more, and it makes you even see it clearer. don't allow the conditions of this life to define you. I'm telling you, if you study people, you would see that people don't have to tell you things. Just by studying people, you can see so much about them, how they respond to issues, how they react. How you can tell. Sometimes people have to cry you how they, or just two people. It lets you know how people. If you study people, you'll be shocked. You see, people's actions are people express themselves more by their actions than their words. Sometimes the silence of people is very loud. Sometimes people be inside, he comes and he's not involved, he's laid back. It's very loud. If you study people, you'll be able to know this person, this is the issue. That is the issue. This person is going through this. If you study people, because unconsciously, people are always expressing what they feel through different ways. Sometimes they are not even aware that is what is going on. So you watch them, and at times people even think you read minds because you are able to what's wrong with you? But he doesn't know he himself he's defining what you just asked him, but he's not aware. Shake off, let the word of God define you. The word of God is constant. It's constant, and our intention is not just to allow the word of God to take over us, but where it becomes a life, it becomes consistent. Some are doing well, but it's like it's on and off. Today you see them vibrant and excited, the next time you see them. But you should get to the point where the word of God is your life. It doesn't matter what goes on. It doesn't matter what people are saying. It doesn't matter what people are thinking. The opinions of men don't matter. The word of God is your life. Constant. You see, the one who manufactured something is the only person that can tell you the real purpose of the thing. See, the product does not determine what it is supposed to do. It is the manufacturer that determines what the product is supposed to do. That is why he even brought out that kind of product. Because his thinking and brooding over that thing, and his decision to produce that thing determines the kind of product that comes out. So right in the manufacturer's mind, he begins to design the thing based on the purpose for the thing. Do you get what I'm saying? He designs the thing. That's why you see cars look the way they look, because they are supposed to transport. Listen, the shapes of cars are not just random. You have to shape cars in a way because they are supposed to transport things. You shape cars in a way that they do not become products that confront the the air as an object. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You know, cars are designed, or they're supposed to design in a way that they can allow the wind or the air to go around them. Because there are times cars will be coming in confrontation with the wind. And it should be able to still go. Why are tires not square and round? You see, because the manufacturer had in mind that it's supposed to move consistently. Square things don't have smooth movement. So you see, right in the mind of the manufacturer, he shaped and then he designed the thing in a way that when it comes out, it would function in a particular way. That's why I say it's the manufacturer that determines the purpose of the product. It's not the product. You see, so who created man? It was God. So who has the purpose for man? It is God. It is not man who decides. You see, it is not man who decides. You know, because the very purpose for him was what initiated his creation. So before he came, there was already a purpose for him. So it's not when he came that he has to find out what he's supposed to do. You see? So the intent of God for creating man was to create a species, right, that will be a typology of him. Do you get what I'm saying? To be a typology of him. God has a kingdom. He is the king in that kingdom. He rules in that kingdom. And he created man. That's why he created man. No other creature had come in the image of man, in the image of God, except man. Why? Because man, the intention and the purpose of God was to create man to function like him. That is why that man could not come in any other image except like God. You see, God's intention was not to create man for transportation. Else, he would have put, man would have looked like a car and God would have put an engine in him. And cars don't have kingdoms. And cars are not kings. Cars don't rule. But I said God rules. God has a kingdom. And he said, I am creating a species that should function like me. So really, the intent of God was not for man to be anything else but like him. So he said, how can I create man? How can I create somebody who is like me and doesn't have a kingdom? Then he's purposeless. Who is like me and doesn't rule? Then he's purposeless. Who is like me? Because that is what I am. So he created man, then he gave him his type of heaven, which is earth. You know, he gave him his type of heaven, which is earth. Then he said, rule over all things, have dominion, because that is the purpose. You know, and you see, you cannot do something in a particular way unless you are coded for it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You cannot do something that you see, microwaves are not designed like cars, so they can't move. They can't transport. They don't do what cars do. So the only way man could function like God was to be coded like God. You get what I'm saying very soon. You know, so the God factor had to be in this creature. That's why God didn't breathe angelic life. He didn't call an angel to breathe into man. He didn't call any of the 4 living creatures. He didn't call any of the 24 elders, right? He didn't call any of them. He didn't call anything to breathe into man, but he himself breathed into man. Because the purpose of man is to be like God. So he can only be coded as God. So there had to be the God factor. And when man disobeyed God, he lost the God factor. But that was the very reason. So man became purposeless. And it's a natural thing. It's like hunger and thirst that you need to do something about it. But it's like a thirsty man who takes Coke, he takes wine, he takes orange juice, he's taking every other thing apart from water. He will not be satisfied. And that's what man has been doing since the fall. Some have tried to replace the God factor with achievements. At the end of fulfilling their purpose, they are still unfulfilled. Some have put it into alcohol. Some have put it into womanizing. Some have put it into gathering, wealth, materialism. They have, and it's like the more they do it, the more unfulfilled they feel, and they feel then it's because they have to get more. So they get the more, and they are still unfulfilled, and it drives them for more and more and more. That's what's happening in the world. Because only God can fill that vacuum, just the way only water can quench thirst. So for many, at the end of their duration here on earth, they look back and they realize it's vanity. See, but that's it's the worst way to find out that you were chasing the wind. When you are ready to leave, then you realize, because if you are even given 1,000,000 years and you keep gathering and gathering and gathering, after the 1,000,000 years you will realize that it wasn't because you didn't have enough time. It's just that you are chasing the wind. But sadly, that's where most people realize that it's vanity. They've just lived. You will get, that's why I say you may have gotten everything. That's even worse. For those who didn't get anything at all. There are some who are chasing and they won't get anything, and in the end, Charlie, yeah, you might think that is bad, but it is even worse when you realize that after what I thought would satisfy me did not. At least the other person, he didn't find out. But you look back and you realize, whatever should be done, I have done it. Whatever should be achieved, I have. Whatever should be got, I have got it. Yet, because you cannot replace anything with a God factor except God. That's what it means when he says, for all have sinned and have fallen short of the glory of that God factor, you would do everything. And that's the greatest delusion. Because you think, when I get it, I'll be okay. Ask yourself, how many times have you not said when you got something, I'll be okay, and you are still, this phone here, when I get this phone, after getting it, you realize it is not satisfactory. So is this all there is? Then you think the other one that comes will do the job. You get it and realize, no. Because the manufacturers themselves, they've not stopped. They don't have purpose. They've not stopped producing it. They themselves know it doesn't satisfy. How much more you, the consumer? Many times I have said, oh, this thing, when I get this, you think that is all there is. That is what matters in life. This thing. This is what matters. You get it and realize that. After some time, then the new one has come. Hey, I heard the new. Hey, Charlie, hey, this one, yeah, it is Charlie. Then you start getting, attracted. I have to get that one. You get it and you realize you want this shoe as if it's the only shoe you would wear till you die. Yet you get it and I forget another. You see, nothing was designed to satisfy man. Only God will do that job. Did you get what I said? If you didn't get anything I said, nothing was designed to satisfy man. Only God will do that job. Because the original food God created for man is the Word, which He is. It says, man shall not live by bread alone, but what? But every that proceeded. So man, that's why I said, listen, anything that happened after Genesis is not an accurate revelation of God's mind for us. That's why people say, oh, why can't Abraham marry? You see, all these things it was man's own pursuit to satisfy himself. If I get more wives, I'll be okay. If I get more money, I'll be okay. If I get more this, but you are doing it and you realize, no, Charlie, still. You see, if I get this girl, hey, this girl, if I get this girl, you get and you realize, no. If you realize, no. So nothing will satisfy. Nothing, I'm telling you. Don't wait when you are checking out from here and say, hey, sir is full of wisdom. No. That's not the purpose of wisdom. Wisdom wasn't designed to reveal regrets. It was designed to give us pleasure. So wisdom wasn't given so that at the end you say, oh, Charlie, they told me. No, that's not the purpose of wisdom. Didn't you see when God was creating, wisdom said I was there. Wisdom, wisdom is productive. Wisdom is progressive. Wisdom exempts you. It exempts you from regrets and stagnancy. That's the purpose of wisdom. Not to make you find out in the end. Why do you give warnings? Do you give warnings so that people would appreciate the warning after they encounter what they were being warned about. Warning is to prevent them from, you see the warning there, then you fall in, boom, then you say, hey, I saw the warning sign. That was the purpose, so that you won't fall in. After falling in, the use of the warning is not more relevant. That's why you are being warned, so that you don't fall into the ditch. So that your journey will be smooth. So that wherever you are going will be successful. So that's why we are instructed. Instructions are not for references. You know, you are not you've not been instructed so that you make reference to it. They told me. Oh, no. No, that's not the purpose of instruction. So without, that's the purpose God created man. That's why he put himself in man, or he breathed a breath of himself into man. So I said you can achieve all things. But you see, the amazing thing is that when the God factor is taken care of, every other thing that comes along with it now makes meaning. You see, if the God factor is not there, you may get all things, but it would not make meaning. It would not be satisfying. It would not be fulfilling. But when the God factor is there, now you realize that everything has meaning. Because all things were created by him and for him. So he's the one who gives meaning to all things. So now you may have all the wealth in the world, it makes meaning. You get me? You have a family, it makes meaning. But without the God factor, you have a family and it is unfulfilling. There is no meaning into it. Why? It's like finding things that have been dismantled and scattered. When you may find the screw, you wonder, what is this screw for? You go a bit, then you find a screen. What is this screen for? You see, because the things are scattered, they don't make meaning. But when they've been assembled and they are together, you realize that, oh, this is what the screen does. This is its use. This is its profit. This is what the screw does. It holds this in place. This. Because the purpose of the thing is revealed because of what is in the thing, based on what it's supposed to do. You know, so when the God factor is in place, now everything that comes in now makes sense. It makes meaning. Its original intent and function is revealed. But if you get all the things and the God factor is not there, you realize it's not satisfactory. And that's what man has been doing over the years. Just keep searching and searching. Man always thinks there is something, which is true. There is something that's true. There is something. So some have into fulfilling the lust of the flesh. They've done everything yet. He may think it's if I give myself to porn, I'll be, there is that craving. You realize that the more you give yourself to it, the more meaningless it is. The more you think you have to do. The more you get deluded. The more you think if I watch more, and you keep doing that over and over and over and over and over. And you know within you that no, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. Let me show you something. Go to the profile. Thank you, Jesus. Alright, I think we'll have to round up. I'll show it to you quickly. Where are you? Go to First Kings. Are you there? First Kings 10. Are you there? Let me read it quickly. It's quite long. We'll lose the essence of it if I don't read the whole thing. Listen carefully. He says, and this is about Solomon. He says, and when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house he had built, this is business. At the right time, I'll take you into some of these things. In business, wisdom makes a difference. He says, and the meat of his table. See, wisdom was expressed in everything the man was doing. Even the food they ate communicated wisdom. You could see that this house, the interior, the very table they eat from, the very equipments they used, you could tell that it was an expression of a personality and a mind. The very food they even ate expressed the mind of the man. Another time you get me. He says, and the meat of his table and the sitting of his servants. How effective the servants were. You know, how on point they were. It all glorified the wisdom of Solomon. He says, and the attendants of his ministers and their apparel, how they even dressed. He says, and his cupbearers and his ascents by which he went up unto the house of the Lord. There was no more spirit in her. She was overwhelmed. This was a queen who came from royalty, who knew what royalty and wealth was. Yet she came to Solomon and his servants, the design of the architecture, the kind of cutlery and what she could tell that this is wisdom. I mean, she was exposed to the finest any material thing could offer, yet she was still blown away by Solomon. No. Imagine a very wealthy person visits another wealthy man. Hey, Charlie, this your house. He enters and says, wow. Brother, I'm talking about not a poor man. No. Now you say, oh, this guy is not used to this kind of life. Oh. And she's a woman too. You know, women, they know how to use and misuse.
Yes.
Yet, you know, they know how to chop madam. You know, women. Mm-hmm. This woman had all the servants at her exposure. Yet she came and she saw servants and she was like, wow. She was blown away. And it's not easy to impress a queen. It's not easy. First, she's a woman. Being a woman, it's not easy to impress. That's why I said a queen. I'm talking about one who has been exposed to royalty. It's not easy to impress people like that. Yeah, she was blown away. Blown away. You know? The very attire they wore. The mixing of the colors itself. I'm telling you. I told you, excellence is mindful of details. And that's the spirit of excellence is wisdom. So she even saw, hey, mango blue and gold. She could tell that this is, it will take wisdom to be able to think of blending such two colors. Not you see some houses, they painted it black and red. You know, you see, you see a house, you could see this house could have been really nice. But you watch something and say, this the guy spoiled it. Or you see somebody dressed yellow coat, green shirt, orange belt. They could be the top designers in the world, but you say, no. This dress in the end. It takes a certain way of thinking to dress like that, and a certain way of thinking not to dress like that. Okay, let me go on. He says, and there was no more spirit in her. You know, it says it's like, you know, she was blown away. He said, I was out of breath when I saw the beauty of the place. And you know, spirit, breath is the typology of spirit. Breath is the same word. So it's like she you know, her breath was, that's the word. Say, my breath was taken away. Yet you are talking. And he says, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, it was true report that I heard in my own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom. Amazing. It meant that what she heard when it came, it was confirmed and more. Sometimes you hear things about people, you go, no. How could they have been saying this about him? No. I'm disappointed. I have been appointed with a this. I'm disappointed. But listen to what she said. She said to the king, it was a true report that I heard. It meant that what she heard was too good to be true. She was coming to confirm her unbelief. That was her intention, not to come to confirm that, you know, that's why she confessed it. She was coming to really prove that all that had been said by Solomon, it can't be. No. It's too fantastic. Yes, she came and it was more than fantastic. And howbeit, I believed not the words until I came and my eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. He says, what they even told me was small. What I have come to see, what they told me was small. He says, I doubted greatly the small they told me. No, it was bigger truth that was waiting for me. He says, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I had. Exceeding means much more, beyond the fixed number. It also meant if she was even thinking it's true, she had her own, you know, description of what she really believed. It couldn't be what they were saying. Yeah, I know it. He's rich and all that, but it can't be what I'm hearing. And when she got there, she realized that what she had prescribed for Solomon was false. What she had heard about him was also half truth. Because she realized it exceeded. He says, blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee, to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices, very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. I've always wondered why King Solomon did not look sharp on Queen of Sheba. Because we thought, well, maybe I'll ask him when we meet. It says, and the navy also of Hiram. I'll show you why I said that. And the navy also of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almond trees and precious stones. He says, and the king made. Okay, let's skip to. No, I have to continue for you to see something. He says, and the king made of the almond trees pillars for the house of the Lord, and for the king's house harps, also the psalteries for singers. There came no such almond trees, nor were seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave unto the Queen of Sheba all her desire. Dear God. This is not a poor woman asking according to her poverty. This is a rich, a wealthy woman asking according to her status as a wealthy person. So imagine what she would ask for. It says he met all her desires. Hey, I thought it was only God who did that too. Hey, he says, and King Solomon gave unto the Queen of Sheba all her desire. Whatsoever she asked, not wait next week, you go, I'll send it. No. Money. He says, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. It says, now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 606 talents of gold. Check a clearer versions of, it will give you a ISV easy English. You see what we are talking about. He says, beside that, he had of the merchantmen and of the traffic of the spice merchants and of all the kings of Arabia and of all the governors of the country. It means they brought him goodies, all these people. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went into one target. He made let me go. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. Shield. Pure, not coated. Not coated with gold. The shields were pure gold. Inside out. Brother, you know what one bar of gold can do? And this is the whole shield. If you take something like this to war, you will have easy victory. Do you know why? Because your opponent will be, hey, they'll be in war. They'll be admiring your weapons. You finish all of them. They beat the gold. It should tell you they melt plenty, then they beat it into a shield. 300. Brother, if you get one, it will look after your family till the Lord comes. Until the Lord comes. He says, and he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield. I said, check them from there, you understand. Because they wanted you to be marveled. That's why he gave you details that 3 pounds went in. That's why he gave you details. Else he would have just said they made shield out of gold. He wanted you to know the amount that went in. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold. It means in gold, there are qualities. There are qualities of gold. Yeah, there are qualities of gold. Just the way there are differences in glory. There are qualities because gold is an expression of glory. Okay. The throne had 6 steps. The top of the throne was round. Behind, and there were stays on either side on the place of the seat. And 2 lions stood beside the stays. Which I said check from an easier. And 12 lions stood there on one side, and on the other, upon the 6 steps, there was not like. He says there was not the like made in any kingdom, because no king was thinking like that. He says, and all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold. Hey. Charlie, it's one thing enjoying and it's one thing enjoying even the cup you are enjoying the drink from. A day will come, you will take your liquids in gold. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm telling you, it's a different. Even wine glasses made of glass. If you are drinking wine in wine glass, or you are taking juice, you see that, Charlie, it's different from your ceramic and plastic cup, and even other glasses you use. Well, you can tell there is a delicacy. I'm telling you that wine glass, they design especially for that. You don't know what I'm talking about. Most of you don't even know wine glass. You don't know what wine glass. If you get one and one day you visit me, I'll give you wine in wine glass. You know, you take. He says, and all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. Not even. He says it was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. In the days of Solomon, silver had no value. Silver had no value. The supply was so much in supply, its demand fell. It says, for the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. He says, and they brought every man his present, vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and garment, and armor, and spices, horses, and mules, a rate year by year. They were paying to hear the man speak. We think everything is hard work. People were paying to hear. Some people will speak for hours and people want them to even shut up. This was a man who was being paid to talk. It says, and the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones. Silver was like stone. If you see it, you didn't even look at it twice. When you are walking and you see stones, you wow. No. You don't even realize when you rather step on it. This stone. That's how people were treating silver. When they step on something and they watch it, still I thought it was. I stepped on silver. Then they continue the journey. Now people are killing for it. He says, and the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as sycamore trees. The fig tree is a type of sycamore is a type of fig. So he says, like kincho, you know kincho. Oh, these ones, the one we sit under. These ones, it's kincho. You see that is very bitter. That was how the cedar. Do you know cedar tree? The finest trees. Finest wood you can ever come across. The finest, if you use cedar to build a house. If you've seen some of these wood houses, beach wood houses, I'm talking of for the rich men. It's cedar, pure. It doesn't rot. Animals can't eat into it. You touch it, you can see this is quality. It is the gold of wood. Cedar. They even use it in perfumes. Very expensive. Very expensive. So he says, and Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt, and linen yarn. The king's merchant received linen yarn at a price. And a chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and an horse for 150. And so for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their means. Very expensive horses and chariots. Yet they were given to Solomon freely. You heard all the achievements of the man? You heard all that. After all was said, and they said, but. I told you, anytime you hear but, it cancels everything. He says, but King Solomon loved many strange women. Character. Ideas. Character. Because the purpose for which God placed him on the throne was meaningful as long as it was of God. I had wanted to say a lot about that, but I won't say it. I said God placed Solomon on the throne for a purpose. And as long as Solomon was functioning according to the purpose of God, everything he was doing was meaningful. When he decided to pursue his own purpose, then the but came in. See why I'm saying that? See what the Queen of Sheba said. He says, and the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord. You see, so his wisdom, his riches, everything made meaning when it was connected to God, connected to the purpose of God. See what he said? He said, and when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, his fame was heard and it made meaning when it was concerning the name of the Lord. So everything he did revealed Jehovah. It revealed Jehovah. It revealed Jehovah. Till it got to a time now everything he was doing revealed the flesh. The flesh. The flesh. So you realize that all the wisdom and all the understanding God gave him, when he was not functioning in accordance to the purpose of God, it was not fulfilling anymore. That was when he started writing Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, especially Ecclesiastes. It was when he started going astray. Because wisdom was supposed to reveal all things to him. But now he wanted to attain wisdom through his own purpose. You don't get me. It got to a time, instead of using the wisdom to reveal God, he started using the wisdom, or he started trying to find purpose for himself instead of functioning by the purpose God had given him. So God didn't take the wisdom from him. But now the wisdom was not concerning the name of the Lord. Now he started, let me marry more. Let me go after more women. Let me do more this. Let me do more that. Let me do more this and see if I will be satisfied. Not if Jehovah is my satisfaction. And then check the statements he made in Ecclesiastes. Let me find one for you. I have to. It's not intentional, but let me see if I'll see one for you. Most of them come at the end of the statements. Let me see if I'll find one for you. Because that was not how God intended for him to get revelation. It wasn't supposed to be through his own personal pursuit. I have to find one for you. I'll see if I can paraphrase it. I found one. Ecclesiastes 15. 8 verse 15. Because the more he searched, the more unsatisfied he became. The more he searched, because now the wisdom was not concerning the name of God now. It was concerning he trying to make a name for himself, trying to arrive at conclusions of himself. So see what he said. So sometimes we read this and we think it's the wisdom God gave Solomon. This was how he found out what God had already given him through wisdom. But he realized outside God's way, it is vanity. Because outside God's way, the wealth did not make meaning. Outside God's way, his riches did not make meaning. Outside God's way, the gold, the silver, everything did not make, the buildings did not make any meaning. He looks at them and then he's, so what, after building all this, you die and go. You see, it didn't make meaning. But when it was concerning the name of the Lord, our God is wonderful. By his wisdom I have built this. You see, it made meaning. See what he said. He said 15. Then I commended, let me change to WE. 15, he says, oh, it's the same stuff. ISV. He says, so then I recommended enjoyment of life, because it is better on earth for a man to eat, drink, and be happy, since this will stay with him throughout his struggle all the days of his life, which God grants him on earth. You see? He was now seeing things from the perspective of works, struggle. This is not the exact thing. There are places he says what? After a man labors under the sun, and he should what really matters is to I think obey God and something, you know, he made
1 verse 2.
1 verse 2, right? Ecclesiastes 1. Nah. Oh, these ones came
8. 8.
Oh dear.
Say verse 3.
1 verse 3.
Yes.
This is part of it. But there is a place he will say, after he says something like this, he will say, all that matters is to obey God. You know, statements you could see that he arrived at them based on afflictions. You see, these were statements made from afflictions. Oh dear. You read some of these things and you think, hey, Solomon was wise. So no, he has strayed. He has strayed. What?
The verse 8.
Read it.
Then I beheld all the works of God, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. Because though a man labor to seek it out, yet he shall not find it. Yea, further, though a wise man think to know it, yet shall he not be able to find it.
Okay, this is also cool. This is also cool. This is also cool. I think 5:19 says something. Well, I'm not getting the exact one I'm looking for, but I think these ones are. He says, furthermore, for every person to whom God has given wealth riches and the ability to enjoy them, to accept this allotment and to rejoice in his work. This is a gift from God. So the man, he went through different phases and motions. When he decided to stray, when he decided to use wisdom outside the purpose for which God gave to him, he strayed. Now you hear him speaking. He was speaking. That's why he was also called the philosopher. But if you check, most of the deep things Solomon said, they were true, but they are not true. They are deep, but they have to do with natural things. Like Proverbs. Most of the things he said, they are deep, but they have to do with natural things. You get me? It's not accurate truth. If you study him, you see. You say, and if you do this, if you get this, enjoy life. After all, he says what?
Drink.
What is the use of a man if he will die like a dog? He went through so many afflictions. He came to conclude, Charlie, life cries not worth living. Yeah, that's what happens when you begin to think deep, but from the natural perspective. These are the conclusions you arrive at. So if you check, most philosophers they are weird. You get me? Most philosophers, because they think deep and then so after all this and this and this and this and this. So what is really the purpose of it? Solomon said, what is the use to gather wealth and everything and then you leave it for a fool? Because you don't know who is coming to. You are gone. You can't decide who will take over what you. And if even you know who takes over, you can never tell how he would. You might have attended the thing with all your strength, with all your, you give every attention to it, and somebody comes and he handles it anyhow. So what was the use of all the energy you put in the thing in the first place? You gathered for someone to come and just scatter. So what's the use of gathering? These are some of the, because he has strayed. He says, but Solomon loved. Solomon loved. That's where his demise started from. Solomon loved. First Kings 12. He says, 11. He says, but King Solomon loved many strange women. Many strange women. That word strange there has got to do with foreigners. It's got to do with harlots, prostitutes. Not necessarily prostitutes. You get me? It's not that he went after prostitutes, but they were foreign. Just like the Israelites, when they begin to worship other gods, God called it prostitution. Because they were foreign. Anything which is foreign to you is... That's why we call them prostitutes. If the woman is foreign to you, she's a prostitute. If you sleep with a woman you are not married to, she's foreign to you. It's not legal. It's not recognized. It's illegal. She's foreign to you, so you are prostituting. So that word also means strange, alien, foreign. It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women. Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. It seems he had a ministry. There were several women, beautiful women in Israel he could have married. The problem wasn't because he was marrying plenty. he just laughed. It's like once he hears that this woman is not from Israel, it's like, there's an attraction. Like, there are some things attract them. Say, hey, if you hear, hey, is it black? Black, Charlie, the black. Once it's black, that's it. He loved many strange women. And you read it further and you will see. You realize that the flesh, he did not kill that desire. So the man had everything that would cause anybody else to envy him, but character destroyed him. Character makes a difference. And I've always told you, God's intention is not to give us his word so that we can gather and acquire. It's to give you character, because it makes the difference. The man had everything but lacked character, and it ruined him. So God's intention for his word is not so that you can gather, it's to train you, it's to give you a mindset, it's to bring you up, it's to make you a man of character. That's the intention of God's word. Because as for all things, that's not the problem. They are already yours. They are already yours. In the Old Testament, he made his son, because Solomon was the son of God. You get me? God saw him as his personal son. He made his son. He gave his son all the wealth and riches, and then after, he was supposed to get character. But it's not so in the New Testament. In the New Testament, he wants you to get character and inherit all things which are already yours. Old Testament, he first exposed him to all the wealth. But in the New Testament, it is laid out for you. It is yours. But he first wants you to develop character, the character of the word. He doesn't want you to end like Solomon. He doesn't want you to end like Solomon, where you would use all the wealth made available to you to gratify the desires of your flesh. That's not the intention of God. So subdue the flesh first and walk into all things which are already yours. So for character, God will not compromise on it. God will not compromise on it. That's why the only way you can have it the other way around is to do it your own way. But if it is God's way, forget it. No compromise. You will build character. If you leave and go after 20 years, you will say, oh, time is gone. So you let us overlook that. After 20 years, you come and start where you left off to build character. He would not compromise character. So it's better you stay under, build character. God will not compromise character because he loves you too much to do that. That's why I said, if you would walk in wealth and riches according to God, then you will have to first build. But any other way, then it has to be your own. Then that one, is up to you. But if it's up to God, character first has to be built. That's why he'll train you through his word. He will train you through his word. So if you won't allow the word to train you, I said, your prosperity cannot be according to God. Yeah, you may get everything you want. Yeah, nobody is saying that. But it will be through your own means. Oh yeah, that one it will be through your own means. And of course, if it's by your own means, then you are responsible for it. And you are responsible for every consequence that comes with it. But if it's according to God, no compromise. No compromise. Because that's the only way that everything He has made available for us will make meaning. He loves you too much to leave you to chase the wind. He doesn't want you in the end to say vanity upon vanity. When you say vanity upon vanity, then you know it was your fault. It wasn't God's. Because if it's God's, at the end of it, if it's God, at the end of it, you realize that everything you ever gave yourself to, ever achieved, was meaningful. If it's according to God. There won't be any other way. Sometimes we ask us, oh God, so why is it that, rather, God, I always say God is not the issue. You know, sometimes sit and ask yourself. You check, check yourself, you know. Sometimes we shouldn't even ask some questions. You know what you do with money when it comes to you. You know. You know what you will do with money when it comes to you. Yet you want it to come. Hey! I'm telling you, you know. You know how uncontrolled your flesh is. You know. You know you have a problem. You know you have a problem. Nobody needs to talk. You know. You know the things you would invest to if money comes to you. Without the money cry, you know the. Without money cry, no Charlie, you are still financing some stuff. How much more the money comes? You know the things you know the things you will gratify. You know, Charlie, I have issues with this. If money comes, money only magnifies character. Money doesn't change people. Say, hey, now he likes women, oh. Hey, when he didn't have money. No. He already liked women. He didn't have money to finance the womanizing ministry. So you thought, now that he has the money, you think he likes women. No. Now he has been empowered to fulfill the ministry. Hey. It is not here. He hasn't changed. It is just that the thing has had opportunity to come out. So that's the same thing. God wants to give you character so that when the wealth comes, it will magnify the God character and not the flesh. Not the flesh. Listen, I know myself, though I'm still growing in the Lord. Charlie, some things if they land right now, brother. I know. I know. You know. Charlie, you know the things you will do. You know the places you will go. Car has landed. You know the places you will go. Now you justify your excuse not to have time to pray and you will justify it. Oh, I have to be here. When you didn't have car there, you were home. But now, Charlie, now for see somebody, or then for why you not coming to? Oh, then Charlie, God is doing you good. So if you want it, finance it your own way. That one there is your own cup of tea. Amen. All right.